Hi, and welcome to episode 6 of our Sabbat series, and maybe episode 150 if we want to make it combined. So in our Sabbat series, we are talking about Mabon. So Mabon is coming up. It's usually around September 21st to the 23rd in the Northern Hemisphere. And so that is what our episode is on today. So, as you can see, I am not accompanied by River. She is unfortunately too sick, and she has been sick for a little bit now. So, we haven't been able to get together and record anything together. So, I'm recording by myself. And we need to get our Mabon episode out as well as our weekly episode. So, I'm just combining them. Hopefully, River will be able to be back next week, and hopefully, this won't be too droning for a Sabbat series episode. So I guess let's get into it. So, as I said, Mabon is around September 21st to the 23rd. It is a pagan festival celebrating the autumn equinox. It marks the second harvest of the year and the time when day and night are of equal length, symbolizing balance between light and dark. Mabon is one of the eighth Sabbats, is the eighth Sabbat of the Wheel of the Year. So the name Mabon comes from Mabon ap Modron, a figure from Welsh mythology who is the son of the Earth Mother goddess. So the modern celebration of Mabon is relatively new and was introduced by Wiccan traditions in the 20th century, and it draws heavily from ancient harvest festivals, which we love a good harvest festival. So, cultures throughout history have, honored the autumn equinox as a time to give thanks for the abundance of crops and prepare for the coming winter months. Mabon is often referred to as the pagan Thanksgiving, as it is a time to reflect on gratitude for the harvest, abundance, and blessings of the year. It is also a time to acknowledge the shift towards the darker half of the year, where nights will grow larger or longer, and the earth begins to rest. So, the equinox represents balance, making Mabon a time for introspection and reflection. This is a time to take stock of personal lives, kind of reflect on what's going on, make peace with endings, and prepare for a quieter, introspective season of winter. I'm very excited about winter. It's coming up and it's one of my favorite seasons. Fall is my favorite season. It does feel like it's getting cooler here in Georgia, so that's a plus. But I don't, fingers crossed because weather can be up and down, especially here where I am. So I'm really excited, and I've already decorated my apartment for Samhain or Halloween, whichever you celebrate. You can celebrate both or neither. So I have some really cool decorations up, and I know, ugh, whatever, Wren, it's only September. Yeah, well, it's September, and I want to celebrate a little bit longer. So I want to talk a little bit about some themes of Mabon because I know we've talked about Mabon before on our like in our podcast, but we've never had a whole episode, and that's kind of what we like about our Sabbat series is because it's kind of like a one and done, unless if we're gonna maybe add on to anything that we've talked about before. But these are episodes that you can always come back to during that time of year. You can always just go boop, boop, boop. I want to learn about Mabon, especially next year, in 5 years, it should still be here. And I mean, I know in 5 years, a lot of this stuff could be outdated a little bit, but at least that's like a learning curve. You're like, oh, okay, 5 years ago we did this, but now we do this. And so that's what I really like about these is they're kind of like digital diaries. So we know what we did and what we didn't do. So I guess let me stop jibber jabbering and talk about themes of Mabon. So, gratitude is a really big theme. Mabon is a time to celebrate the fruits of your labor, both literally and metaphorically. People give thanks for the harvest and all they have achieved throughout the year. Balance is also another theme, where as day and night are equal in length, this is a powerful time to seek balance in your life between work and rest, giving and receiving, and of course, light and dark. Abundance and generosity. So, Mabon encourages sharing and generosity as communities once come like we come together during the harvest festival to celebrate and share, the bounty with one another. And it's not about like, ooh, I like gloating and I did this, or it's just about harmony and just kind of being happy and at peace with everything. And then this is again kind of relays into being at peace is letting go. So with the waning sunlight, Mabon is also a time to release what no longer serves you. So just as the earth lets go of its leaves and changes colors, we are reminded to let go of old habits, patterns, and emotional baggage. So just as the colors of the leaves change, we can also change with it. Talking about the colors of leaves, some color correspondences are red, orange, gold, brown, and dark green. Some symbols of Mabon are cornucopias, apples, acorns, wine, which we all love, autumn leaves, gourds, and wheat, which I cannot have. So, some crystals that are associated with Mabon are citrine, amber, tiger's eye, which is some of my favorite, carnelian, and jasper. Herbs and plants are apples, pumpkins, sage, rosemary, marigold, and oak leaves. I feel like rosemary's in every single one of these. Rosemary is very versatile or versatile, however you want to say it. And then you have your deities. So deities that are associated with Mabon is Demeter, Persephone, which I know River would be all over. Mabon apt Modron, which was what I was talking about earlier. I know I'm not pronouncing that right, so sorry. And harvest gods and goddesses. Now, there are many creatures that are also honored during this time, and some of those could be wolves, owls, stags, goats, butterflies, minotaurs, and gnomes. And so maybe if you see any of these in your dreams, if you feel very drawn to these, maybe these are some things that you can really hone in on a spell or anything that you want to do this fall and winter in your craft. Now, my favorite part is the food and drink. So, wine and cider. I love a good cider. Now, I'm all for wine, but some wines are maybe not my favorite. But I love a good cider, and I love making my own cider as well as pies. Pomegranates aren't really, I could do without, but I feel like you can incorporate that in a lot of ways in your craft or eat them. And then you have apples, root veggies, grains, and pumpkin, of course. So now with all of that said, how do you celebrate? So some traditional ways to celebrate are sharing a meal with friends or family, maybe featuring seasonal foods like the apples, pumpkins, squash, or grains. And it's a great time to express gratitude and abundance in your life, maybe through those meals. And as a kitchen witch, you can imbue your meals with that gratitude and abundance. And I think we've talked about this plenty of times, but I love wooden utensils. And so you can always etch certain emblems or symbols into your wooden grain handles for extra magic in the kitchen, as well as maybe spelling your herbs, because we all know they have meanings and everything, but you can maybe spell them yourself. You can draw sigils and symbols with olive oil or butter or make your own butter. Like there's a lot that you can do. And I feel like this is a great time to kind of hone in on that. You can also decorate an altar with symbols of the harvest, such as the cornucopias, the acorns, wheat, which makes my stomach turn, apples, and autumn leaves. And you can include colors like gold, orange, red, brown, whatever reflects the season's energy. Now, as I always say and interject, if these colors don't resonate with you during this time, let's say Mabon, I know is in September, but I associate a lot of things with color. And September is blue to me. So maybe I would want to incorporate some blue or something like that. So it doesn't have to be these exact things. Maybe you're like, no, I don't like tiger's eye for Mabon. You don't have to use it. Use whatever resonates with you. So Then you're going to want to maybe take time to reflect on the blessings and accomplishments of the past year. And you can write a gratitude list or perform a ritual to give thanks to the earth and the divine. I'm just spitballing some ways that you can celebrate. There are so many endless ways that you can celebrate. Now, you can take a walk in the park, take a nature walk and observe the season changing. Collect natural items like leaves and acorns, pine cones. You can use it on your altar. You can decorate your home, but be mindful because there are bugs that live in things and you don't want to bring those into your home unless if you want to, but I wouldn't. You can also do candle magic. We love a good candle magic. You light a candle to maybe honor the shift of the light from light half to the dark. And you can use this moment to reflect on maybe your personal transformations. I mean, we're all transforming personally. So I think this is a great time to think about all the changes because I feel like every single day feels the same. But as soon as you look back and, recount your days, you're like, wow, a lot has changed. So maybe that's a good time to do this. And then there are some different ways to celebrate. So you can do shadow work. So, especially shadow work through storytelling. So, since Mabon represents balance between light and dark, it's a perfect time to dive into shadow work. This practice can be used for exploring your hidden and repressed emotions. So instead of journaling or meditating, try turning this into like an introspective practice and maybe into an act of storytelling. So, for example, you can write or record a story where the main character, i.e., you, goes on a journey, encountering their personal quote shadow in form of, maybe a challenge or a mystical creature or anything. And as you create your story, you focus on what the shadow represents in your life, either fear, insecurity, anger, whatever it is that you feel like you have repressed and you need to work on. And so by transforming your shadow work into a narrative, you can symbolically work through these emotions while connecting to the seasonal theme of balance as well. Now, there is something that I'm very excited about. Like I read this and I was like, what? So you can do an apple divination feast. So apples are a classic symbol of Mabon, like I was talking about before, and they are traditionally used for divination during the fall season, which did you know that? I didn't. So this is where River needed to go. Did you know? So we can kind of incorporate apples into a feast, making each bite an act of magic, whatever it may be. So, how to practice this part? So, how to do apple divination? So, you're going to prepare a meal centered around apples. So, for the sake of ease, maybe apple pie, baked apples, apple cider. I like a good, what are they called? Apples on a stick, like the caramel apples, anything like that. And then before eating, you can carve symbols or sigils or runes into the apple skin. Now, I think this would be fun with caramel apples because then you could have it in the caramel and then you can have fun with it. So then you're going to carve these things into the apple skin, asking the fruit to reveal answers to questions about your upcoming journey through the darker half of the year. As you eat the apples, meditate on the symbolism of each bite and look for signs and insights that emerge. So, like in the pattern of your bite and etc. You can also keep the apple seeds to create a charm for protection or prosperity, and planting them in your garden and keeping them on in like a pouch. Like so either or. I would love to have an apple tree. Maybe when I have a house. So, now that I'm done with my little fun kind of interjection on a apple divination feast, you can create a personal wheel of balance ritual. So maybe instead of the traditional focus on balance between light and dark, you can create a personalized wheel of balance to reflect your own areas of life and maybe areas that need alignment. So this ritual allows you to visualize and balance different aspects of your life, like maybe work, relationships, spirituality, which is maybe what I need to work on, and maybe health, using the Mabon theme of equilibrium. So you can do this by drawing a wheel divided into sections, with each section representing an important area of your life. And you can label them like career, personal growth, relationships, health, creativity, whatever it may be. And then rate each section based on how balanced you feel in that area. So maybe personal growth for me would probably be an 8, but maybe my spirituality and me honing in on more witchy things would be a 2, because I feel very lacking in that time right now, just because of how hectic everything is. So those are just my examples. And then use the visual representation to set intentions and create magical workings for restoring your balance where it's needed. So you can light candles and meditate, or perform small rituals for each section to bring harmony into your life. So let's say, what did I say was an 8? I don't even remember, but let's say my 2. So my spirituality is a 2. So what do I feel like I need to hone in on? And I can grab all my little crystals and herbs and little doodads and do like small rituals. I'd probably make a pie, make something like a good stew sounds really good. So maybe I would imbue my stew with it, and kind of, you know, that's a part of coming more into my spirituality, as well as it comes into it more than just one way, not just cooking and performing it, but also helping me feel balanced in that way. You can also do a magical forest or garden cleanup ritual. Mabon marks the end of the harvest. So instead of only focusing on gratitude or for abundance, take a moment to be more active by engaging in a cleanup ritual to honor and prepare nature for the winter ahead. So you can visit local forests or parks, or your own garden, and gather any fallen branches, dead plants, or litter. And as you clean up, set your intention to return energy and gratitude to the earth. I feel like that's a really big thing too, because there's a lot of litter and a lot of things that maybe are in the way of earth being able to be plentiful and happy. So this is just a way you can offer, a small piece to give back to earth a little bit. And so this ritual can be performed in maybe ways of like composting as well, where you can symbolically return organic matter to the earth as well, helping it renew and prepare for the next cycle, which I love good composting. I really do. You can also do spell crafting with fallen leaves, where fallen leaves are obviously everywhere, and we've had the first falling leaves recently, and I'm really excited. And they can be a powerful tool for spellcraft. So instead of using parchment or herbs for your spells, write your intentions, wishes, gratitude on fallen leaves, and let nature do the rest. So you can gather these fallen leaves from your yard, nearby forest, selecting anything that catches your eye. Because if it catches your eye, then it has a meaning. So write a protective spell, gratitude list. If you have a big leaf, then you can fit a lot, or intention on each leaf. Releasing these leaves into the wind and letting nature carry your intentions out into the world, it's a great way to kind of activate these. So if you don't want to do that and you want to keep it near and dear, you can you can bury the leaves into the ground and set your intentions. Or you can also burn them, but also be kind of like intentional of to where you burn them. Don't burn them outside, especially if it's dry. Like maybe do it in your home, and then you can put the cool ashes outside. Just don't start a fire. Like be mindful. But fire is a good way to set and have that transformation. Any of these can allow you to have that transformation. Now, creating a Mabon harvest box for personal growth was something I found pretty interesting. So much like storing up like maybe physical harvests for winter, like physical food and items, you can create a symbolic harvest box to preserve and protect growth you've achieved throughout the year. So you can find a small decorative box, make it yourself, whatever it may be, and fill it with symbols, objects, or written representations of what you've accomplished and what you're grateful for. These can include, written affirmations, photos, small trinkets, dried herbs, crystals, etc. Seal the box and keep it on your altar or in a sacred space as like a magical talisman. And this I feel like this talisman can project energy, like the energy that you've harvested almost. So whenever you need strength or inspiration during the darker months, open the box and reconnect with the energy. At Imbolc, Sabbat marking the return of light, you can ceremonially open the box to kind of maybe celebrate your personal growth and set new intentions for the coming year. I think this one's really nice because you can use it either or. You can also do, I really like this one. I know that there can be some back and forth as to how these can be used and culturally everything, but I really do like these. So you can create a seasonal dream catcher. I love dream catchers. I don't know if I told this story before, but somebody really close to me when I was younger and who I looked up to, she traditionally she made me a hand woven dream catcher, and I still have it today. I don't even know if she remembers me or anything like that, but I still have it. I have no idea where she is, but I will always have it with me. So I kind of really like this one, where you can infuse your Mabon celebration with protection by crafting a dream catcher with, autumnal elements. And this ties together the themes of balance, rest, and protection. So you can use twigs, vines, and autumn leaves to craft the base of your dream catcher and weave a web with red, orange, or yellow yarn, maybe, whatever it is that you want to weave it. I like a good twine, like I don't even know what kind of material. It's like brown twine. I really like the earthy colors. So I would do more browns and more natural colors to symbolize Maven and incorporate maybe acorns and feathers or dried herbs like again sage or rosemary for protection. And then you can hang the dream catcher over your bed or in a sacred space to protect your dreams at night. As I think it's just one of my favorite things. And then I'll do one more. Um, so last but not least, this one was, I think, one of our also favorite, or I guess I'll do two because this one's also very important. Um, I'll start with this one. So you can host a witch's tea party with seasonal intentions. I love a good idea of doing a tea party every Sabbat, like a Samhain tea party, a Yule tea party, a Mabon tea party. It sounds like it would be so much fun. So, for a whimsical, unusual way to honor Mabon, maybe gather your friends or you can do it alone for a tea party focused on seasonal magic. So, serve tea blends with autumnal herbs like cinnamon, ginger, chamomile, apple slices. And as you sip your tea, go around the table and share something you're letting go of, as well as an intention for the darker half of the year. You can also charge your tea with protective or abundant energy by stirring it clockwise while chanting your intentions. Um, Also have the food. You have like little tea sandwiches, like little snackies that also have in like intention settings of Mabon. And then last but not least, here we are. We always have to talk about a good bonfire releasing ritual. We love a good bonfire, and I know we're probably going to have a couple bonfires this winter season. I'm so excited. So, a bonfire can serve as a powerful tool for releasing what no longer serves you, while also honoring the changing season. So, and again, be mindful of where you set fires. I like this one. And you can also, as a kitchen witch and a foodie, you can also make this a joint feast party thing, like a get together where you have fantastic food and I just love food. So how you can do this is write down things that you want to release, whether they're maybe emotional burdens, fears, negative habits. I think habits are a big thing that we don't really talk about as much, but habits can also be either negative or positive. And you can write these on small pieces of paper, on the leaves we were talking about, etc. And during your Mabon celebration, you light bonfire. It doesn't have to be a bonfire, it could be a candle. If can't do a bonfire, it's completely understandable. And one by one, throw the pieces of paper or leaf into the fire, symbolizing each burden being consumed by the flames and transformed into energy that nourishes the earth. And as you do that, you can watch the fire burn, focusing on the feeling of lightness and freedom that comes from releasing the things that you no longer want. Now, I will say that's pretty much all that we have. There is so much more to Mabon than just what I've said. And, anything that resonates with you, you can definitely use in your rituals. And I know it's not as fun as being like told, oh, yeah, you have to do this. I mean, I think that's less fun, um, but it's just a way that you can celebrate. And I think that it's very important to weave your own traditions in it as well. This is something that has been super exciting for me because I've never really, before doing this podcast and before honoring and honing in on what I am and how I want to present myself in my own craft, I've never really even celebrated any of the Sabbats. So after getting into the podcast and learning more about myself and my love for this stuff, I've had a really good time coming up with a lot of things that we could do and how to honor and celebrate without being maybe boring or like traditional, like the same old, same old. So I'm trying to give ideas, but if you don't like anything, then that's absolutely fine too. So it's kind of odd that, River's not here, but I'll do the outro. So if you like what you heard, and please say you did, you can go to our website at www.c3witchypodcast.com. There we do have links to all of our social media. That's YouTube, which is our main one right now. Please go subscribe, comment, like, all of the above. We are on X, which was Twitter, Instagram. You can reach us at any of these platforms as well. Facebook, literally anything. We're on it. We're also on Threads now. River has told me, I don't even know what that is, but you can also reach us there. You can also find let me think, our newsletter, our blog. If you have any questions about our two subscription sites, then anything is there. You can also reach us at riverandwren@gmail.com and ask us any questions. We love a good chit chat. Um, our merch is still in the works with Wren being sick. It has kind of dampened everything, but we are working on it. Trust that we are working on it. And I think that's it. So we'll be back. And until then, stay witchy.